As a little girl growing up in Ephrata, I was not only a Phillies fan, but I was also a New York Yankees fan. And so we'll hold on to that. So moving ahead, circa 1993, if you remember the Gulf War, and I had, in a spirit of patriotism, bought my husband and I these beautiful crew neck flag sport shirts. And they were quite expensive. They were really cool. You know, they were like golf shirt kind of thing. So, 1993, the University of Buffalo hosted the World University Games and the World University Scientific Conference. My husband was in charge of all the diving, running all the Olympics, national championships, and world championships, so he would be going up there to run that. And my research was accepted for the scientific conference, and I was also on the Olympic swimming committee prior to that. Well, I got the bright idea. We lived in northwest Pennsylvania at the time, in Clarion, and Buffalo was 3 hours straight north. I thought, I think I'll ride my Harley-Davidson motorcycle up to this conference with my Gulf War Patriot shirt on, and my husband could just take all my research materials and clothes and such up to the Hyatt. So I drove 3 hours and I pulled into the Hyatt, and they had police out front and there was great fanfare and so on, and my bike had a lot of chrome and it had drag pipes, which are quite loud, and I had my golf shirt on. So I pulled up and I was waiting there to decide how I would get to the parking garage, and this gentleman came walking out in a suit and tie and came over, and I took my helmet off and he said, "I love your shirt." And I said, "Oh, thank you." I said, "I just got the one for me and for my husband." He said, "That is really cool. And he wanted to know the company. And I was trying to remember the company, and I told him. And he said, "Well, my name is George Steinbrenner." And I about fell off my bike at that point. He said, "And why don't you and your husband have dinner with me?" And I said, "Okay, that'd be great." He said, "Meet me down in the hotel restaurant at 5 o'clock. So I could barely get off my bike, and I got it parked, and I went up and I told my husband, and we couldn't believe it. And so we went down and met him and sat down, and he was asking my husband about his experience running these games. He did it for 35 years, all the Olympics and world championships. And then he asked me about my experience and what I was presenting and so on. And so finally I said, "Well, Mr. Steinbrenner, I'm just curious why you are here." And he said, "Well, here's my story." He said, "Last year in 1992 in Barcelona, one of our male Olympic swimmers for the United States, I believe he placed third, but his dad died in the stands of a heart attack at the Olympics. And he had just graduated from Princeton and he wanted to go to medical school. And the family, he had been on scholarship to Princeton and they really didn't have the money, and I found out about this. So I decided I would sponsor his medical school. So I am here to watch him swim in these World University Games. And he was there for, it goes on for 3 or 4 days. And if any of you have ever seen swimming, for people that don't know swimming, it's usually pretty boring. And I almost fell off my chair. I just thought, this is the most incredible thing, because I had always heard a lot of controversial and somewhat negative things about Mr. Steinbrenner. and he was the most cordial, gentlemanly, gracious person. It was just amazing. And I decided this is just another example in life where you get to really meet someone, and George Steinbrenner is definitely a rock solid patriot and wonderful man. Thank you.